Gitaxian Probe and Deathrite Shaman are banned. Everyone, this is Nikachu, and we are going to talk about the latest bannings from the banning and restricted announcement. Oh, I'm also here with Chubby Meatball. Shout out to Chubby Meatball. And yeah, no changes in standard, no changes in modern, no changes in vintage, but Legacy got a huge shakeup. This was really unexpected, banning Deathrite Shaman and Gitaxian Probe. Like, with 1 month to the Pro Tour, people have to make serious major adjustments. I mean, there was surely going to be a ton of Delver decks that hosted both Deathrite Shaman and Gitaxian Probe, and not to mention other strategies that use both those cards. Deathrite Shaman, a huge, powerful card, great mana fixer, great at defending yourself, keeping your life total high, and also great on offense. Deathrite Shaman definitely warped the format. There used to be a lot of Delver decks. There used to be Jeskai Delver, Bug Delver, and now all there is basically 4-color Delver. And some people still want to play blue-red Delver, but it's, you know, that's basically like a burn deck. But on the whole, it's all become 4-color Delver with Gurmag Angler, Pyromancer's Lightning Bolts that also abused Gitaxian Probe. So Deathrite Shaman is getting the axe. That was a card that was probably a mistake to be printed in the first place. What do you think of the bannings, Chubby Meatball? Gitaxian Probe and Deathrite Shaman being banned. She's speechless. Absolutely speechless. I'm surprised too. I couldn't believe it. I thought they would wait until after the Pro Tour. Like I said, I don't think this was a very necessary shakeup going into, you know, the 25th year of Magic. Like, Legacy is a format that changes very, very slowly. So for them to push this on all the Legacy specialists with such short notice, and also the pros, they don't like uncertainty going into this big event. That's why there's now like more time with standard before the standard Pro Tour. There's a much longer period to test before the standard Pro Tour happens. And I don't know if the people are going to have enough testing time going into this Pro Tour. I mean, there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. I guess it's going to be good for coverage, but it's not going to be as good for the players. So Deathrite Shaman is axed, super mana efficient. Gitaxian Probe is also banned. So that was a card also hyper abused in these Deathrite Shaman decks. It makes your brainstorms and your ponders so much stronger. You know exactly what you need to dig for, exactly what you play around. It was also played in Storm, where you could just play Gitaxian. Well, I mean, it was fodder for the graveyard and to draw a card. But you get to see if the coast is clear. You look at your opponent's hand. Do you have Force of Will? Do you have any interaction? If you don't, then I'm going to combo off. Same thing with, I mean, it was applicable to Storm, but it was also applicable to Sneak and Show, or all Show and Tell decks. They could play Gitaxian Probe to see if the coast was clear before they combo off themselves. Now, for Merfolk, this is a great announcement. They couldn't have been better. I would have been happy with just one of those cards getting banned, but for both of them to get banned, that is insane. Deathrite Shaman crippled Aether Vial. It was just way more mana efficient. Like, Aether Vial over the course of like 3 or 4 turns can start playing like 2 spells at once, but Deathrite Shaman allows you to play like 3 spells by turn 2 and 3 to 4 spells by turn 4. It's 2 mana efficient, and not to mention it's a great clock. It makes you lose life. So if you even try to race a Deathrite Shaman deck, well, they're just going to eat your life total too quickly. Like, if you try to race them, they actually are really good at racing with Deathrite Shaman. If they need to save themselves some life, if we're racing them too well, then they can gain life and keep themselves out of range of dying. So it was like a Swiss Army knife. It could do everything. Gitaxian Probe, the fact that this thing gets banned is actually, I think, even better than the Deathrite Shaman ban. Because if someone sees your hand, and let's say they see Chalice of the Void, now they know what to dig for with Brainstorm and Ponder. So for example, if they need to look for a Force of Will, or they know this Chalice of the Void is going to completely take over the game. But if you don't know that your opponent has Chalice of the Void in their hand, are you necessarily going to want to dig for Force of Wills when your opponent is playing with Cavernous Souls and Aether Vial? Well, not really. So if you don't have perfect information of your opponent's hand, particularly the Merfolk player's hand, it is going to be so hard to play around our holdings. Our win percentage is going to skyrocket. I'll just say that right now. With Deathrite Shaman and Gitaxian Probe being banned, Merfolk is way more positioned than it was before. We were not beating the Delver decks. At best, we were getting 50%, and that was very disappointing because you would think that Chalice of the Void in Legacy Merfolk would have been a powerhouse, but unfortunately, it was really mediocre. Gitaxian Probe revealed what we had, allowed our opponents to play perfectly around it. They could sculpt their Brainstorms and Ponders for the right counterspells or removal, whatever they needed. Now they will be working with very imperfect information. Those Ponders and Brainstorms, they have no idea exactly what to look for. They're going to have to play around things the old-fashioned way in Magic. So you're not going to be cheating anymore with your probes. Are there any other archetypes that get hit by Deathrite Shaman? Deathrite Shaman was played in a lot of decks, including Elves. I don't think that affects Merfolk all that much, because, like, if they have, like, a Deathrite Shaman rollout, that's, like, one of the better things that we could see. Like, we don't want to see things like Heritage Druid. Deathrite Shaman's, like, really not that big of a deal. I think that's about it. I think it was a very big plus for Merfolk that Gitaxian Probe is banned. Very big plus. Deathrite Shaman is banned, because that was just a card that could be jammed into too many decks. It was played in Leovold, it was played in Pile, it was played in... there's a lot of archetypes that could just... I mean, if you're playing black or green, like, why not play with Deathrite Shaman, right? So, Legacy Merfolk, much better now. I was gonna go to Slivers. I was starting to feel like, oh, you know what? We need better tools. We got to move to Slivers. No, we're gonna go back to Merfolk. Merfolk and Legacy has huge potential, and also now maybe Chubby Meatball's Cat Tribal deck has a chance in Legacy. We're gonna see how that works out. So anyway, you let me know what you think about these bannings. What do you think are the advantages for your archetype? Are you upset at the bannings? Did it cripple your deck? What do you have to say about these bannings? This has been Nikachu talking about the banning and restricted announcement.